Okay. Oh, I should have gotten some music prepared, shouldn't I have? That's what we would call professionalism. That is what we would call professionalism. We're not that here. How is everyone doing? Let's see, what am I in the mood for? Let's get some Glitch City, baby. I have to listen to Pokemon music. Come on, game. You know me better than that. So, we be writing fan fiction today. I'm just writing. That's all I'm doing tonight. I didn't really feel like gaming. So here we are. This is life now. We move this up here like so. And wada wing wangs. Alright. Uh, mind me later, fuckers. Alrighty. So what do we have so far? At the moment, I'm writing a fairy tale fan fiction. A Navia, if you don't know what that is, Juvia and Natsu. Um, for very small reasons, other than the fact that I don't really like most. Actually, I love most of them. I just don't. I just wanted to try something crack. All right. I just wanted crack cocaine. Oh no. Like my microphone is bad. No, no, Kevin. Kevin, you're not allowed to be rating me already. Kevin, I just got here. Why are you doing this to me, Kevin? Oh, definitely not Mel. Subscribe. Thanks for the subscription. Oh god. I literally just started this stream. Like I have nothing planned. So welcome everyone. My name is William, a.k.a. Master of None. We play video games here most of the time. You've caught me on a day where I didn't really feel like doing that. So you're welcome. Today for those of you who are new here, you don't know this more than likely, but before I did YouTube as like a streamer, I wrote fan fiction of like various anime and whatnot. That's basically what I'm doing today because I didn't really feel like playing Skyrim again. Burnt out on Skyrim for a little bit and my legs are killing me. Schedule. Share the love, my dude. Kevin, you're the best. I don't have any mods to tell people to go to you, and you're literally the only people here. Alrighty, let's see. Where was I when I left off on this story? Yo, it's your boy Loki. Loki, you just sneak up in my chat like this? Okay, Loki's over here sneaky. Alright, this downtrodden friend with sympathy. I don't think sympathy would be the right word. Loki's over here being a sneaky boy. It was peculiar. The young big lurker in a lot of chats, you know this. Loki, you be lurking and it's all good, my man. So you the young Manslayer. Today's been pretty alright. We've been... Today, pretty much, I've basically just done nothing. I was up for Ava's sleep log last night. We talked and played for a while. Then I was with, like, you and the guys last night. This morning, I got up. We started... Oh, dear. The Price Boy. Then, this morning, we started working on, like, cleaning out things because of my move, which is possibly... We haven't nailed down a specific date for my move. But it's more than likely going to be, like, late October-ish time frame. But we were packing up some stuff for that, just to get everything situated. But that's basically just been my day. I was gonna play Skyrim, but I just really didn't feel like it. Kind of in a slump, and kind of really in a writing mood today, you know what I mean? Here I see the youngest dragon slayer in such a slump. Slump. That's it. Slump is a 10 out of 10 word. His friends. On to his own devices. But welcome. Oh dear. You know, this raspberry white claw is pretty trash. That's him alone with his own devices. I don't like that line. It's pretty productive. My legs just hurt. All his friends out doing their own thing. Left the some unheaded boy to his own devices. Talking to some chill music from Glitch X City. Purposeless? I don't want to say purposeless, that'd be bad. Devices. I guess that's the best way I could say it. No. Made it. Hyphen? No. Semicolon? Tentatively. I need some more character bio on this fucker. Slender, raised hair, black eyes. Great. Why is it just... I could have figured that one out. Thank you, internet, for telling me that he has black eyes. With black, almost void-like eyes. Ooh, I like that. Black, almost void-like eyes. Alright. Almost pleading. Okay. Why don't you go? He says supportively. He gestured on the quest board. Actually, now I'm looking at this, I kind of want to extend this outward, make this text a little bit bigger. Bear with me if anyone's still here. There we go. Maybe that'll be a little bit easier for y'all to read if you're still reading along with me as I type my grand masterpiece. No, I didn't want avoid, you Pringle loving douchebag. Dighead, shut up. So abundantly as she gestured towards the quest board. I got White Claw on my nose. Now I smell alcohol no matter what. She gestures towards the quest board. Surely. That's probably wrong. That's wrong. Surely. S-U-R-E-L-Y. That's what I want. Surely. You can do. The young boy. Pinkette. From the count. Being tentatively toward the request board. I have Mira. Huh. Natsu said. Natsu said. And in a monotone. They all require, that's a better word, require the boy grumbled. At least two or more people. 2 or more. The eldest Strauss. Acknowledgement. Stop trying to put a Y there, William. Stop it. What are you doing with the live? The other Strauss hummed in acknowledgement as she's... Yo, Cody, how's it going, my guy? We got raided, boy. As she... As her gaze... swept across the guild hall. Many of... Yeah. Off doing jobs of their own dummy. So I decided to just go for it, Cody. I decided to do this stream. Frankly, I've mostly just my entire day has been. I woke up at like noon. I woke up at like noon. Mom and I did like some move preparations. I'm pretty certain it'll be like late October, maybe early November, for the move to Tennessee. And we were going through and packing some stuff of mine earlier today. And frankly, once I got done with that, I sat down and I just didn't want to play any games. I was in a writing mood today, actually, and I wanted to stream, but I didn't know if that'd be entertaining. And don't call me Mooster of None with nothing. None. I'm drinking White Claws. Frankly, I've got these raspberry White Claws in the fridge. They're not my favorite, but they're not bad. They're pretty good. So, to give you a little rundown of the story, actually, more of like, as you know, I write fan fiction like before I started streaming, and I still do to an extent, even though most of my time is spent streaming now. And my primary genre of writing is like romance. I'm trying to get more experience writing like action and whatnot, which is in part why I'm writing for Fairy Tail now. This is a fairy tale. The main pairing would be Natsu and Juvia, because frankly there needs to be more of those. They're adorable characters. I'm gonna drink my White Claw and be happy. So the story so far is everyone is basically gone. Team Natsu, minus Natsu, is all busy. Gray, Fullbuster, if you've ever watched Fairy Tail, you know this, is out on a solo mission up north. What are their names? Lucy, Windy, and Urza are all off doing girly things like shopping, or at least that's how I wrote it. And Happy is off trying to get a date with Carla. So there you go. And Mira Jane Strauss has offered for Natsu to take a job. But all the jobs that are currently on the request board are for 2 or more wizards. Actually, I should write wizards instead of people. Wizard. Many of the members were either off doing their own own jobs. Are doing their own jobs or being productive in their day-to-day life. No, that's a terrible thing to say. Are either off doing their own jobs or at home taking the day off. It's good enough, I guess. Rest before and the residents and water witch. A fairy tale. Juvia Lockster. At least I'm pretty sure it's Lockster. Juvia Lockster. Aha, no T. Lockster. There it is. Okay. Lockster. Silver-haired woman. Developed. Locked. A sickly sweet. No. Mischievous? Mischievous smile. Bluettes. Juvia, darling. Darling? Yeah, I love that. I love that. That betrays her playfulness side. Darling. And Mira sang as she waved. Water wizard. Poached. Oddly quiet. Not Sudragnil. Sudragnil. Junior is right. Illumi and wondered why it was not with Kurisama on his job. J-O-B. Job. There we go. Alright. She noticed an oddly quiet, not too dry, sitting in the stool in the mirror room. Why the figure was not with the precious grace on her current job. Okay. How am I gonna start this interaction? Let's see. Okay, so Juvia, from what I remember of her from the anime, kind of talks into the third person. Yes, Mira. I need an outfit. I need an outfit for Juvia. Because one of the best things you can do as a story author, or one of the most essential things, is a good description of your characters and the world around them. I want her to have long hair, so I'm gonna have to go further back into the show. Maybe this one. I like this one. Maybe a green bow tie. Okay. Yo, what is up, my boy? A campfire, Chris. I would say I think I have a campfire, Chris, on my fucking Nightbot, but I can't remember. I think it's exclamation point Chris in chat. I think. Don't quote me on that. Nightbot, if you could like drop that link. I don't know if I ran that or not. Now's a turn to see Shane. I'm doing pretty good, Christopher. Today I really didn't feel like playing games or whatnot. My day's been pretty jam-packed with packing for this move in Tennessee, which I'm thinking is somewhere around like early November, late October-ish time frame. So it's been pretty jam-packed with that for me. So instead of playing games today, I've decided to just write. I've been in a very writey mood today. I don't know if you know this, but before I did stream and whatnot, I was an avid writer of the fan fiction. Oh wait, no, it's not Chris. It's Campfire. That's it. That's the thing. Hopefully by that point I'll have everything. Yeah, I forgot, Loki. It wasn't okay. Loki, you're still here. Wow. Okay. Mr. Lurky boy. Yeah, I forgot. It was Campfire, not Chris. My life's like that. Would be the big sad. Ex-country boy Chris. Alright. Juvia was wearing her usual attire. All the time, my dude. All the time. We got raided by Kevin earlier today. Like earlier in the stream. Like I hadn't been up for like 5 minutes before his ass was like, "Yay, Master's awake. Let's raid him real quick. I was like, all right, cool, Kevin. She was wearing her usual attire of a parka. No, a sea blue parka. Don't need to go too in depth about this. Blue parka with white fur along the edges. What's my time frame for this story? Parka. Dark, deep blue. Is it deep? Would you consider it deep blue or dark blue? Sounds better. I would say dark blue would probably sound better. Dark blue. Oh, parka with white fur along the edges. For a shirt. Lighter. Yeah. The shirt was white. Never have too many commands, mostly because I'll forget. I'll forget that it's campfire and not Chris. Young Dragoneel. Opposite, magical opposite, magical opposite. I think that's what I'll call it. Magical opposite. Back toward the waitress that had waved her over. Yes, Julia. Julia! Before gesturing, yes, sound pretty boy. Do you mind accompanying? No, that wouldn't fit her character. Would you mind going? Yeah, I guess simple's the best way I can go with this. Do you mind going with Nazi? Available. A group quest. I'm afraid. Was at first reluctant to this request to accompany Dragon Slayer. Adhered. Is this He had heard stories of his destructive tendencies. And while she was no having been a member of Phantom, capital P, Phantom Lord, and being Iron Dragon's Lair. Jill Red Fox. Knowing that Jimmy was at first reluctant to accept this request to accompany the Fire Dragon Slayer, as she has heard stories of his destructive tendencies, and while she was no stranger to destruction, having been a member of the Phantom Lords Guild and being best friends with the Iron Dragon Slayer, Gajil Red Fox, comma, not a period, that'd be wrong, not a period. I'm a better writer than just to put a period in the middle of a sentence. Pshaw. Now, their two personalities, as well as their elements, were complete opposites. Jiggler? What? Cody, what do you mean? What are you accusing me of? We have crabs here and I didn't eat them? Big sad. Their personalities as well as our elements of magic. Class. We're complete opposites. Your beard is back. My beard is fantastic. Actually, I should move my camera. I just noticed this. It's like, oop, that's not my camera. With my camera up, I just noticed the Master of None thing that I have on the stream is covering my face. Nobody told me that yet. What the fuck? Alrighty. Let's see. Elements of magic were complete opposites. She adopted a pitiful? No, pitiful's the wrong word. What's the word that I'm looking for? Kind of apologetic. Apologetic. Look in her eye. Look in her eye before being aside the eldest Strauss. Look, Mira whispered. Heard in her ear. Just go with, no, that's, yeah, just go with. Everyone else has left him behind. behind. Everyone else has left him behind. And besides, if he starts he sets besides, you can put fire, he starts. Elderest. That was a stupid mistake. Okay. When Mira say that, God, this is a part of writing that you gotta really take into consideration. Like, you can't just have characters say anything. You have to see if that will actually fit their character. Oh God. Look, just go with them. Everyone else is left them behind. And besides, you put okay, I'm gonna save that, but I'm actually gonna dip it. Just go with them. Out of hand. And you can put in any fire he starts. Mirror disregarded. Unannounced to Mira, the young dragon slayer. Unannounced to Mira, the young dragon slayer. Still hear her. Unannounced. Due to his advance dragon-like hearing. Okay, cool. I don't know what the hell that was. I just got a notification from Sean Raider. I was like, what? What's going on? Unannounced to Mira, the young dragon slayer could still hear her due to his advanced dragon-like hearing. But due to a lack of fucks to give. No. But due to he went to open. He went to open. To refute the claim, puts it in defeat. Many people the dragon was not playing with full depth. He was far from stupid. Okay. Logic. He did, after all, have a tendency of going overboard. Overboard. are in the heat of the moment. In fact, okay. I'm told this is chill. Joe, we just chilling. We drinking White Claws. I'm writing fan fiction. I'm literally just hanging out. Likewise, if you guys have anything you want to talk to me about, go right ahead. The floodgates are open. Wrong, bad idea. Still got the PP. Yo, you know I got the PP. Let's go. I think I unplugged my headphones. Yo, we got that Hokage action. In fact, I'm actually gonna put him here while I go get another White Claw. Actually, put my microphone on here. There we go. Just rest. Just rest up here while I go get another alcoholic beverage. Okay. Yo, I hope my PP was entertaining to you. Ugh. Look here, Mr. PP. PP poo poo papa. Over there. Alrighty. I just noticed I don't have Discord open. I need that open. Got me a ruby grapefruit White Claw. Those fucking pop off, man. Those are good. Oh my god. Okay. Juvia for her parts. It is indeed a fairy tale fanfiction. Joe, all right, Joe, I'm gonna give you a lowdown on the story as it stands. I'm writing a Natsu Juvia pairing fanfiction. Have you know? Because I enjoy that. I enjoy writing crack ships. And with this, Team Natsu, as it were, Gray, Urza, Lucy, even Happy, and Wendy, they're off doing their own thing. Gray's got a solo job up north. Lucy, Urza, and Wendy are off shopping, having their girls' night, or whatever. And Happy is off fraternizing with Carla, the white cat. I'm actually really surprised how much of Fairy Tail I actually recall, having not watched or read anything about it in the last couple years. That just goes to show you, my brain's really good at remembering things that don't matter. Like math or whatnot, don't even get me started. But anime, ooh yeah, I remember it hardcore. Alrighty, let's see. I actually have. Let me check Discord real quick. Yo, it's the boys. Alrighty. Brain equals good. Brain does equal good. Brain equals mush half the time because I'm drinking copious amounts of like White Claw. Yo, that red ruby grapefruit is fucking. A buddy of mine at work really likes the mangoes. I've never had a mango one before, but that sounds great. Go over first. They're at this. A pinkette. she didn't. What's the word? Not. She didn't. I don't want to say she doesn't like him because she really doesn't have. From my knowledge of Fairy Tail, she really doesn't have to feel one way or the other about him. Because at the moment, she's like fucking head over heels for Gray. Damn, is White Claw good? Ooh, big F's. White Claw is pretty good. I'm not big of a like I enjoy an alcoholic beverage every now and again, but I'm not big on I'm not a beer guy. Even though there are some beers that I will drink and will tolerate, but I'm not much of a beer guy. I'm more of a liquor kind of guy, and these ones fucking slap. She didn't know him. Know him all too well. In fact, not at all. Her precious. And his magic. She knew nothing. Perhaps. The perfect time to make another friend in the Fairy Tail Guild. Fairy Tail Guild Hall. Or even better, I don't want to start my sentence with or. Better acquainted with the Dragon Slayer. Getting better acquainted with the Dragon Slayer would put her in more favor. Would it? In more favor with Gray. To hide. Okay. Juvia, for her part, looked over her shoulder at the Pinkette. She didn't know him all too well. In fact, not at all. She knew he was a friend with her precious Gray-sama, but other than that, and his magic, she knew nothing. Perhaps this was the perfect time to make another friend within Fairy Tail. Getting better acquainted with the Dragon Slayer would put her in more favor with Gray. She tried to hide the blush that appeared on her cheeks at that thought. Do I like that paragraph? That's not even a paragraph, that's 2 sentences. Oh my god. Okay. No, but I think I'm too intoxicated to do it again. Getting better with the Dragon Slayer. I don't like that sentence whatsoever. I can never write fanfic. Needs knowledge of horrors. I have no care for nothing. I feel that. I wasn't all too good at English now either. Still ain't. Basically, just how I started writing fanfiction was that I started reading fan fictions that other people have written. Like, if I can just pull this down here. I don't need that, actually. Like, I started reading fan fiction by like everyone. Like, the first series that got me into read, I was looking for more Ruby stuff because I'm not really into Ruby and whatnot. RWBY. If you're not familiar, it's what it is. And I was in between seasons, and I just had the craving for more, but I've seen every episode. So I went to fanfiction.net and started reading. And then as I kept reading, I kept getting ideas in my head on how to write it. And as you keep reading, your knowledge of words will get better. Or at least mine did. Like now I'm using words like copious or unannounced in like regular sentences and whatnot. Like before, I was more limited to small words. And if you ever do try writing a fan fiction, what I notice a lot of people do is they will use the name of the character way too many times in the same paragraph. Like I typically try to keep it to use, like, say Juvia, for example. Try using Juvia once per paragraph, and then and then throughout the paragraph I'll use other ways of describing her, like blue-haired woman, or the water witch, or bluettes. That's another thing that I really like to do. Take the hair color, like pink, for example. Pink, and then just put ETTE on that end of it, and I use that a lot in my stories. I've actually written 3 other fanfictions that have done pretty good so far. Like the support I've received has been pretty good throughout all of them. Like if I go here, story manager, and then I add a browser source, I guess. Add source. Okay, not browser source. I guess that's the wrong thing. I guess that's not what I'm looking for. If I go and add, where is it? Display capture, there it is. Perfect. Properties. Display. It's not doing it. Come on, you piece of garbage. There it is. Properties. This one? Aha! There it is. There's the boy. So right here, you'll see me on my account profile. WJ Winnings is like my pen name here. So if you want to look that up, or you can go onto my channel. It's under one of my under my about page. If you want to read any of my stuff, go right ahead. But I have a few stories here, like a Kunai in Time, which is a Naruto X 1010 kind of story, but that's taken more of a backseat to the main story, which is they about to kill a man. That's all I'm leaving it with. Drunken Nightshade Marriage is exactly what you think it is, and then Proposal is exactly what you think it is. And they've done pretty well. Like, I have gotten so much positive feedback on those stories. Like, it's insane. How did I get good at this? Practice, mostly. I've done it so many times over the course of like months, like 6 months or so of writing fanfiction. I mean, my production has pretty much slowed now that I'm streaming, or at least trying to stream every day. Oh, is my internet doing a bad thing again? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, I'm still connected. Whatever. I'm gonna press on. But yeah, I got very long ones or short ones. Oh yeah, I've like I said, I've read a lot and then I've practiced it. Like, when I'm come up with a new concept for a story, I typically look up to see if there's anything around, I look up if there's another story using a similar concept or the same concept, and I kind of use what they've written as kind of like a template, sort of. For me, the beginning of a story is the hardest part. So I usually go off of other people at that point. I'm bouncing off of other people, so to speak. Awesome. Do you write long ones or short ones, or do you have like different chapters to keep the story going? In a story like with Drunken Nightshade Marriage, I have 13 chapters. I typically like to keep each chapter around 5,000 words. In Proposal was a one-shot, so it's just one chapter. I think that was fairly short. I think that was only around 2,000 to 3,000 words. With Kunai in Time, I think I'm on chapter 11 now. I think I'm working on chapter 11 now. And that'll just keep, and I'm trying to get that one going, but I'm struggling with trying to figure out how I'm starting it, but that's on me. I gotta really buckle down on that one. This practice. Have you ever thought about writing original stories? I have thought about writing original stories. In fact, when I started writing fan fiction, a lot of my coworkers at work, like, I write on my phone at work a lot. My coworkers have like, Will, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm writing. And they're like, oh, you're writing, is it like for school? And I'm like, no, it's my own story. I'm working on it. And he's like, so they're waiting for me to read, like, publish a story, like, finish my book that I'm not even writing. I'm just writing fan fiction at this point. But eventually I want to be able to write my own, like book, whether it be short or like novel length. I don't care. I just want to write something and, like, see what people think of it, A lot of times what you'll see people do in the fanfiction community, no matter what genre of fanfiction you're doing, what show you're writing for, you'll see original characters. And I'll have you know, I'm not an exception to that rule. One of the first OC or original character story I've ever written was a Ruby fan fiction called Jasper. I figured instead of writing in 3 other characters on top of my already original character, I'd just get rid of a character that already existed. And unfortunately, Nora Valkyrie, my favorite girl, just so happened to be on that list. Oh my god, Joe, don't... I don't know, I haven't even started on an original story yet. I haven't even, like, I don't have a concept or anything. But back on my OC real quick. His name is Spencer Cross. He's orange. He has orange hair, green eyes, and is basically. I typically write him around 6 foot, mostly because I want to be 6 foot. I'm a small boy. Everyone at work is taller than me, except for like. Yeah. And it typically goes from there. I think it's been a while since I've written that story. I think I left him off. Spencer Cross. His weapon was like butterfly swords. If you don't know what a butterfly sword is, it's like a sword for each hand. It's like a long dagger, so to speak, for each hand. And typical fighting style is using one for blocking and one for offense. I gotta pee. I'll be right back. Alright. Get this stupid... This cable's out here being 8 feet long. 18 feet long. Nobody needs an 18-foot long cable. Okay, story's coming along, but I'm kinda... I don't know where to continue from it. Let's see. Also, Joe, if you ever do, you know, go into fan fiction writing, Grammarly will become your best friend. It's the best thing ever. It's great. Check this out. I've gotten so many stories that I've worked on and just haven't finished. Like this line is 6, so I got 5, 6, 12. Oh my god, I've got so many stories I haven't worked on. The closest story I've got is My Sensei, My Lover, which is like the closest to being finished, which is a Naruto Sakura ship fic, where Naruto is the sensei for Team 7, if that makes any sense. Story time with friends. Should I try? I would try to make it like a solo story, but I don't know where to begin with it. You know? I'll go chat. Do that. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Like, I have so many stories I need to work on and finish. Like, I'm working on this magical opposite fic, which is my not too ex Juvia fiction. While at the same time, I still have to work on like chapter 11 of Kunai in Time. I still don't know how to do that. Do I even have that started? Hey Devin, how's it going? How you doing? Devin, if you're just coming in, we're writing fan fiction, my dude. I didn't feel like playing games tonight, so this is what I'm doing. Oh, this is an OC fiction that I've been working on. The Wild Hero Lionheart. It is a My Hero Academia fiction that I've written, centered around my OC Ichigo Tatsuma, his quirk is called Lion, and he transforms into a lion. So think Ryuko or Ryukyu, the Dragoon hero, but with lions and a PP, and you basically got it. Gotten this one pretty far, I think. Okay, yeah. So it opens on Ichigo Tatsuma with a. You'll notice that all my original characters have orange hair and green eyes, all of them. Let's see, where does it start? He was amongst this new generation of heroes. His name, Ichigo Tatsuma, son of Diego and Saki Tatsuma. Like his father Diego, whose quirk allowed him to transform into a bull and take on the heroic visage of the Stampede hero Bull E, Ichigo can transform into a lion. In his transformed state, his senses, along with his strength and speed, are increased to animalistic levels. UA High School, the most prestigious school for heroics and various other courses. A school where the greatest names in heroics graduated from. Names such as All Might, Endeavor, Present Might, Eraserhead. I misspelled Eraserhead. Are you kidding me? Why the orange hair and green eyes? I like orange hair, and well, I like green eyes, and orange hair just seemed like one of my favorite colors. But lion and PP, I like it. I understand, Devin. I don't know, I've always liked green eyes, and I felt like orange was a nice complementary color to that. Which made it hard for when I was writing for my OC Bleach fanfiction, because I didn't want to make him like Ichigo, who has orange hair. So I had to change it. I still don't know how to change it. Right now I'm working on for red, but that's probably bleh. That's bleh. Right now in my head he looks like kind of like a Renji, but I don't want that. A hero school with the greatest Endeavor, Present Mike, Eraserhead, and every hormonal teen's favorite, Midnight. This has 1,000 people's dream schools, however, only 53% of the applicants. People's dream school, however, it only accepts 53% of its applicants. And young 14-year-old Ichigo just so happened to be one of them. Being related to a pro hero had its perks. such as meeting some of the idols and having people keep an eye on your progress as a hero hopeful. You had to put that. I did. It had to be this way, Cody. It had to be every hormonal teen's favorite. Midnight? Bruh. His aunt Ryukyu, or as so many know her best as, the Dragoon hero Ryukyu, had a large hand in shaping the boy into the hero he would become today. And because of their relation, most hero schools kept an eye on him in hopes of recreating him into their ranks, if to do no more than to boost their own reputation. His everyone's favorite. Everyone loves Midnight. Only specifically one word. Oh god, where did I end this story? Oh god, I remember this. The interactions with Katsuki Bakugo. Oh god, this stream has went from writing fanfiction to this is what I've written. Cringe at it with me. Oh my god. Of Two Houses. Oh my god, I remember this one. I loved this story when I wrote it. So, Of Two Houses is a fiction that I wrote sometime, I want to say it was either last year, December, or early this year, January, where John Ark, my favorite boy, is the love child of Nicholas Ark, his father, and Willow Schnee, his mother. Bam. Originally, the working title was Bastard Schnee, but I didn't think that the website would be very okay with me having Bastard in my title, though other people do it, so I probably wouldn't have had a fucking problem with it. And like, I wrote this prologue episode. Prologue? Would that be the correct word? Probably. Prologue. Let me read it to you in my sexy voice. Willow Schnee sat there sobbing as she drank, and who could blame her? She had her very heart ripped out by the man she thought loved her. And on their daughter's birthday, no less, her husband, Jacques Snee, had both ruined her life and at the same time ruined her daughter's birthday. He had disclosed that the only reason he approached her all those years ago as a suitor was he wanted the Schnee name and the benefits that came with it. She was disgusted. She was hurt, and she felt agonizingly alone. Maybe that's why she was currently sitting alone in a bar, drowning her sorrows in whatever alcohol that could make the pain go away. The bar itself was nice, had a certain rustic charm that made her miss her father. You know, now he was a good man. Alexander Snee was a family man, a real family man. Maybe she should visit his grave. Oh, if he could see me now. He had never liked Jacques. I hate that man's name. I can never fucking pronounce it. He never liked Jacques. Not once since they had met had Alexander had anything good to say about the man. Excuse me, said a boy around her age with scraggly blonde hair and deep cerulean blue eyes, wearing a waiter's uniform. Sorry to disturb you, but I couldn't help but notice you crying. Quite polite as well. Sorry. A crying woman can't be good for business. I'm not good at women voices, she said dejectedly. I should go. No! He shouted a bit too energetically. I mean, you don't have to go. He paused to scratch the back of his neck. She looked at this and allowed a small grin to spread across her face. Whammon. This is a bar. People come here to forget their problems, and it helps to have someone to talk to. That and Mother would be rolling around in her grave right now if she knew I saw a woman cry and not do anything to support her. She eyed the boy suspiciously. Indeed, it was unusual. It was usually the job of the staff to listen to the problems of the customer. But that's how gossip starts. And for Schnee, gossip is something that she is too well familiar with. Or alcohol. Sometimes it helps to have an anonymous third party. Besides, I'm a great listener. Alright, my name is Willow McNeil. Choosing to hide her real name, she chose her mother's maiden name. Now there was a loving marriage. Her father would often sing the praises of how he, in his youth, would serenade his mother with songs of courtship. What she wouldn't give to have a romance like that. A pleasure, he said. He held out a hand for her to shake, which she gladly accepted with a smile. If he caught her little slip-up, he didn't call her out on it. My name's Nicholas Ark. Break is where we typically have a line break, either signifying like a break in the like a scene change or time skip or whatnot. Years had passed, and Nicholas and Willow's relationship had grown. They were now more than friends. They were now lovers. She had confided in him her true identity, and for a moment he panicked. Who wouldn't, when having an affair with such a beautiful and powerful woman such as Willow Schnee? Nicholas felt pity for her. Stuck in a loveless marriage, unable to escape it if the media ever found out about their relationships, Josh could, and most likely would, paint himself as a victim and poor Willow as the cheat. Thankfully, that worked to their advantage, and Willow had become pregnant with Nicholas's child a year into their affair. And 9 months later, came a wonderful silver-haired, blue-eyed boy named John after his father. Nicholas even pretended to not care when she gave the man another beautiful baby girl, Schnee. She was born not even a year after John. The strain Willow must have gone through must have been immense. For a while, life was perfect. Or as perfect as one could be under the circumstances. John had just turned 2. 3 months prior to Willow came to visit nearly every afternoon. She was a loving mother, cuddling John before bed while reading him fairy tales all nights. Everything was perfect until one afternoon when Willow arrived. Her natural porcelain skin seemed pale and drenched with sweat. "You need to go," she called as she swung the door open. "What?" "You need to take John and leave Solitus." "Hi, hun, what's wrong?" "Jock, he found out about us, Nick. I've seen papers and heard calls about assassins." Her voice quivered and she was on the brink of tears. This was seriously indeed. Nicholas was a Beacon graduate and a licensed huntsman, so needless to say he could protect himself if he was on his own. But he wasn't by himself. He had to think about John. "I understand. I don't like leaving you, but this is for John's sake." Nicholas paused, noticing the look of terror slowly wash away from his beloved snow angel's face. "I can go back to Vale. My old team would be more than happy to help protect John, if they found us." Willow couldn't hold back anymore. She ran into the arms of her beloved and cried. This was the harsh reality of their relationship. Sooner or later, the secret was going to get out. Willow silently blamed herself for forcing him into such a situation, and forcing her only son to grow up not knowing the loving embrace of his mother. Once Willow had calmed down, she had departed, leaving Nicholas with the task of packing essentials for their journey and destroying what was left. It was an old habit his father drilled into his head. When escaping enemy territory, always remember to leave no trace. Picking up his scroll, He dialed the familiar number of his teammate and partner from back in his glory days at Beacon. Nicholas waited as anxiety filled the air. What if he doesn't pick up? What if he doesn't remember me? A familiar voice sounded on the other end of the phone. Hello, Nick? Hello, Ospin. Long time. Look, I need a favor. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the prologue of Two Houses. Man, I should read books to children. Jesus Christ, it's already midnight? Holy shit. What happened? Where did the time go? Alright, what was I doing before I started reading fan fiction to you guys? I was into the world of fan fiction. I remember this one. I had just written this earlier today, in fact. I've written nothing for this one. Neat. I couldn't help it. Where is my Sensei, my lover? It really does. Just for pain. Yeah, school, the most prestigious. No, that was another test fiction that I wrote. It was always about Sasuke. Oh, this one was a good one. This one was my attempt at writing a Naruto fiction, an OC Naruto fiction, about Sasuke having a cousin. His name's Hajime Uchiha. Nice to meet you, boy. God, what was I doing before I started reading? Oh yeah, I was writing a magical opposite. Okay. Do you just want me to read? Guys, do you just want me to keep reading some of my other stuff, or do you want me to continue writing magical opposite? Because I could do that. I could do either of those things. Cody, you need to tell me which one. Read to me. All right. Oh, I remember. Oh, I'm gonna read this one. This one, it's my. Okay, I've written a lot of OC fictions. This one being. Let me actually stop this music for a moment, or at least turn it down. Okay. So this one here is my OC fic for Bleach. You know, swords and demons. I don't know how to explain it. Okay. Let's see. It started. Okay. The dark-skinned goddess of the flesh that wailed? What the fuck did I write? Walked coolly, Jesus, through the streets of the Rukangai, humming to herself as she surveyed the people walking and talking amongst themselves, as if they were still alive. Yoroichi smiled as she walked. The sun was bright and warm. She enjoyed days like this, where she could just get out of the 2nd Division barracks and away from that Morenshi Omada. Such a useless lieutenant he was. But the Omada clan had power and sway within the Soul Society, and she was unlucky enough to attract the affections of the Oath. She sighed at this she sighed at this train of thought as she scratched her head in annoyance. She needed this day off. While she enjoyed her job and position, it grated on her nerves. The servants, the pampering. Yurichi wasn't one for either of those. The goddess of Flash Step liked being independent and doing things for herself. Of course, that was probably a byproduct of having everything done for her as a child. Lost in her thought, the dark-skinned woman didn't notice a young man bump into her until it was too late. She fumbled slightly, but didn't fall over as she looked up at the man. The young man looked at her through apologetic emerald eyes under his spiky red bangs. He wasn't too tall, perhaps about as tall as that Soifang girl that was always insistent on waiting on her hand and foot. Perhaps he would have been 15 years old by human standards. In his hands was a loaf of bread that, in all honesty, had seen better days. The boy smiled apologetically as he turned and faced her. "Sorry," he shouted as he turned back and around and ran. Yoriichi watched as the boy ran away from her as if he had seen a hollow. "Stop! Thief!" she heard behind her. An adult man was chasing the boy with the bread. Then it hit her. The boy must have been one of those street kids she heard so much about. Kids who hadn't found anyone who was willing to take care of them once they arrived in the Soul Society and resorted to petty theft just to get a meager meal. As the adult ran past her, the purple-headed woman started after him. She didn't much care about finding or punishing the boy for taking the bread. In fact, he probably did the man a favor by taking it. No, she didn't care about that. Now this was the first interesting thing that happened all day. So she ran after the two. The red-headed boy turned slightly to see both the woman he bumped into chasing after him and the man who owned the small bread stand he stole a loaf from. All of this for a loaf of bread? The boy questioned. "Come back here, boy," the shopkeeper said as they ran. "Come back and I promise your punishment won't be so bad." The boy chuckled. Who does this guy think he was kidding? The boy didn't earn the title Red Flash because he was slow or because he gave up quietly. No, he was possibly the fastest street rat in all the Rukon district. "Fat chance," the boy said as he looked behind him one last time. "No one catches the red flash of No one catches the red flash of West Rukon." Yoriichi heard this and smirked. That was a very presumptuous title, especially when you're talking to the goddess of Flash herself. Though the boy did have impressive speed and stamina. The boy's movements hastened as he moved to his right, only to leap and plant his leg on a building wall next to him, before jumping off that leg and landing on a windowsill on the second floor of a building on the other side of the street, before jumping and doing a backflip onto the roof of another building. You know what? I'm not too sure about this line. That just seems too much now that I'm reading it. Anyway, the Shihoin was impressed greatly by the boy's flexibility and speed. To be able to use a vertical smooth surface as a springboard the way he did required great skill, and to do it with such confidence meant he had done this many times before. The boy looked over the edge of the building, pulled down his right eyelid, and with a middle finger stuck out his tongue, taunting the man. He smirked as he ran across the roof and leapt onto a clothesline that he slid on using nothing but his sandals covered feet before tucking and rolling as he hit the ground. But the boy knows parkour. I guess that's where I was going with this. Looking behind him, he seemed to have created much distance between him and the man as he continued walking leisurely down the alley. "Morning, ladies!" Two women stood chatting on stairs leading into a house. A woman he recognized as Lucky Shinhara smiled at him. "Getting into trouble early today, ain't ya, Hajime-kun?" The now-named Hajime waved her off with a dismissive chuckle. "Trouble? Who, me? Never!" He was confident until he felt someone forcibly turn in around and grab him by the collar of his shirt. Standing there was a dark-haired man who was named Takeo Tani, scowled down at him. "Oh, hey, Takeo-san! Pleasant day!" The man glared daggers at the redhead as his face grew closer. "Hajime-san, you are in a load of trouble," Takeo said through gritted teeth. He was a large man with muscle larger than his brain. Takeo had taken it upon himself to be some form of law enforcement for this end of the West Rukon, though none of the street raps really take him with any seriousness. Mostly because he was dumber than a sack of bricks. Yoriichi ran the corner with the shopkeeper as they saw Hajime in the hands of Takeo. The woman was greatly disappointed by this, as she was enjoying watching the kid's skillful escape. Hajime smirked before he lifted his arms up between Takeo's own and brought them down hard, which forced Takeo to break his hold on the boy. Hajime licked the man off, which infuriated Takeo as he joined the chase. The redhead, oh my god, redhead, ran as fast as he could up a flight of stairs before ducking into an opening house. The purple-haired woman shook her head as she thought of how this was the worst choice. So much for being the red flash, she thought, as she and the two men turned into the house, and the men smirked triumphantly as they cornered the boy at an open window. "Give up, boy," the shopkeeper said. "Nowhere to run." Hajime turned around and looked at the three before smirking a knowing smirk. Yoriichi arched an eyebrow, wondering what he was planning. "Clearly, you didn't get the memo," he said as he took a step back onto the windowsill, as he held his hands behind his back. The three's eyes widened as they thought a fall from this height would surely kill the boy. "No one catches the red flash," he said as he took the plunge out of the window. Yoriichi ran to the window in hopes of catching the boy as the two men stood there stunned and useless. She panicked as she saw the boy's red hair sink below the windowsill and out of sight. Was being caught and punished as bad that he would take his own life? Or afterlife, as it were? Once the dark-skinned captain got to the window, she looked down only to be surprised as she saw the familiar redhead swinging from a rope to the adjacent building. Hajime turned and smirked at the Soul Reaper before waving goodbye. Boy. God, I remember how much of this boy. I remember how I wrote this guy now. Because I was going to make his Zanpakuto like a spider Zanpakuto. That's why I made him so parkour. Oh god. The redhead smiled to himself as he walked down the seemingly abandoned streets, lined with equally abandoned houses. This was the self-proclaimed street rat district. There were many people who were poor here, some families even. Walking down the street, he came to a bend that led right, but Hajime leapt over the wall, landing on the ground with a thud. The boy grunted slightly before looking up and seeing a small girl with midnight black hair and stunning amber eyes. "Evening, Blake!" The amber-eyed girl leapt to her feet before rushing over to the redhead. "Nissan!" she exclaimed as she hugged him. Hajime smiled. He returned the gesture. Blake wasn't his real sister. In fact, he had no family, and neither did she. But one thing he learned fast when growing up on the streets was how to stick together for survival. Are you okay? The boy smiled before ruffling the young girl's hair, much to Blake's dismay. Of course I'm okay, Imoto. Nothing can stop your Nissan. He stood up and pulled out the loaf of bread before ripping it in two. He gave the bigger half to Blake. Eat up. The ravenette's eyes gleamed with excitement as she took the bread. The boy chuckled as he and Blake walked into the house where a woman was laying. She had short black hair like Blake and the same stunning eyes. Hello, Hajime-kun. The redhead smiled solemnly at the sickly woman. This was the elderly woman who looked after Blake. She was kind and would often look after a younger Hajime when he had first arrived in society via Kanso. Hiya, Baba. Baba scowled at the redhead. I'm not that old, damn it, she exclaimed. Very, very masculine voice right there. Hajime laughed as he sat down beside her, and Blake did the same. The boy took the bread he hadn't given to the younger daughter, and gave it to the sickly mother. Baba looked at it before turning her gaze to him. You should eat this. Hajime shook his head as he pushed the remaining loaf into the mother's hands. Nah, you take it. I stole an apple earlier. The woman scowled for a moment before sighing. You shouldn't steal like that, she said in the kindly motherly tone that took years of full mastery. One of these days, you're gonna get caught by a Soul Reaper. The boy shook his head. He kept his mouth shut about the purple-haired Soul Reaper that was chasing after him today. The sickly woman didn't need to know any more reason to worry about him. Nah, just the shopkeeper and Takeo-san. Besides, no way they can catch me. Blake glomped onto the elderly woman. Yeah, Baba! Nissan's the fastest, the young girl said with glee as she hugged the woman. Baba smiled while returning the hug. Yeah, I know all about what people call him, she said as she turned back towards the redhead. Red Flash, with a knowing smirk. The boy rubbed the back of his head as he chuckled nervously. Hajime stayed and talked between himself, Blake, and Baba, all the while unknown for the trio, as a purple-haired Soul Reaper was watching the interaction with a small smile on her face. It'd be a cold day in hell when some street rat outran the cold goddess of Flash, and the weather report said it was smolderingly hot down here. Yoruichi stayed like this for what seemed like an hour, or as the three talked, before she noticed her favorite redhead leaving the house. And that is where I ended that. That's where I left off, anyhow. God, my old stories were good. Why did I stop writing them? Oh my god, I was writing a Skyrim thing? Not even a chance am I reading that. What is this? If it'll load. Okay. I remember this, sort of. Okay. It's a well-written story. That's amazing. Gee, thanks, Joe. This went from writing fan fiction to reading the shit that I haven't even touched in like a month. Alrighty. Let's see. I think I remember what this one is. Okay. This one is a My Hero one that I was writing. I think the concept was this one was that Izuku did get a quirk. I think that was the concept. This might be the one where I wrote him with telekinesis. I don't recall. I don't know. Let me read this and we'll find out together. Yeah. Izuku sat in class, writing notes about various topics. Pro heroes, their quirks, his classmates, their quirks, and which ones. Some people call him weird for it, but when wishing to attend a place as prestigious as UA, it always paid off to be prepared. And he needed to be prepared for anything. Attention class, the teacher spoke, quelling the obnoxiously loud classroom. The end of the year is approaching, and it's about time to give your future some serious thought. Seriously though? Yeah, right, Izuku chuckled internally. It was common knowledge that the entirety of the class strived to become heroes, even if half of them have seemingly useless quirks. What good was pulling your eyes out of your own sockets, or stretching your fingers going to do when facing with a powerful villain? Honestly, one kid literally has a horse head. He's a centaur, and not even the cool kind. Of course. I already know you all have hearts set on becoming heroes. The classroom burst into cheers. Kids were displaying their quirks, stretching their fingers, pulling their eyes out. One girl in the back of the room formed a sphere of water that hovered just above her palm. Now that seemed useful. "Hey, teach!" exclaimed a delinquent with ashen blonde hair. "Don't lump me in with these losers." "Oh yes, you're aiming for UA, aren't you, Katsuki?" he said. He nodded. Katsuki Bakugo, local delinquent and longtime bully of Izuku's. The green-haired boy was a late bloomer, meaning that his quirk did not manifest until he was well within his second year of junior high school, and by that point everyone had already written him off as being quirkless nobody. This led to his classmates bullying him for that lone reason. Even after he discovered his quirk, only a few of them even bothered to apologize for the way they treated him, and those who did felt bad but didn't apologize were those who feared Katsuki. The Ashen Boy persisted in his attempts to bully him. I look forward to seeing how you and Midoriya fare in the entrance exam. Boom! Big explosion! Katsuki seemed to see that with anger as he glared down at Izuku, angry not only because his rival was also aiming to attend UA, but also due to the fact that the desk he attacked was currently a pile of flaming toothpicks. His hand was covered in mere inches above the desk, glowing with a soft green aura. "Kacchan, I would appreciate if you didn't destroy my desk." "You little..." "Katsuki, sit down," the teacher demanded. "Don't make me call your mother." Tikbalang? Tikbalang? What the fuck? Where I'm from, it's a monster. I'm in local folklore. Joe, where are you from? Man had a fucking horse head. You can't tell me otherwise. Either that or it was like a wooden horse. Either or, it was terrible. Anyway, at the threat of his mother being called, Katsuki paled and returned to his seat. In time for the bell to ring, indicating the end of class. Izuku was one of the first to make his way out of the school, not wanting to be caught in Katsuki and his group of delinquents. He could have taken Katsuki or any one of his two friends. Telekinesis is a handy quirk to have when keeping multiple people at bay. Break. The green-haired boy wiped the sweat from his brow as he sat on the beach, desperately gasping for air from his workout. For the last hour he had spent on the messy Dagobah beach, using his telekinetic quirk to move trash and debris from obstructing the view of the horizon. Sitting and watching the sunset, he sighed before getting up and dusting off his backside. It was getting late, and it was about time for he returned home. Besides, his mother would be worried about him. Walking through the city, Izuku noted the large crowd of people gathered by the mouth of an alleyway. Walking over, he heard murmurs from people. Things like, isn't that the sludge villain All Might fought earlier? Or stuff about the villain taking a high school kid hostage. He pushed his way to the front of the crowd to see the green slime villain. He was standing in the middle of the alleyway, and he seemed to be struggling with his hostage. He was flailing about now and then, and the arms of the hostage would ignite and flames would spread across the mounds of trash in the alley, which made it difficult for heroes to intervene. Not to mention, none of the heroes on the scene had quirks that could fight such a villain in such a tight environment. Philippines. That's when Izuku's eyes widened when he saw the hostage's face. It was Katsuki. How did he get caught? It was almost comically ironic that the boy who boasted about how unbeatable and amazing his quirk was got caught by a villain and was unable to fight him off. Katsuki's eyes opened and Izuku saw the panic and fear in them. And that's when something happened that neither him, the crowd, or the heroes expected. He charged the slime villain. He didn't know why. It wasn't like he and Katsuki were friends. It wasn't just that his body reacted before his brain could. His hands glowed with green aura as he thrust them both forward, and with them came 2 large trash cans. The sludge villain saw this and merely slapped them away. Izuku leapt into the sludge villain and activated his quirk, extending his reach and expanding it so he could grab all of the hostage and pull. Katsuki narrowed his eyes at the green-haired boy who tried to save him. He didn't like Izuku. Where am I? He didn't like Izuku, not since they were children. It simply infuriated him that even when the boy had no quirk, he would go out of his way and help, even though they could help themselves. His eyes widened as he felt himself being pulled. It wasn't a quick process. It took maybe 3 whole minutes for Izuku to rip Katsuki from the sludge villain's grasp. All the while, the villain thrashed about, hit the young would-be hero, and used Katsuki's quirk to explode. Izuku never once released his hold on the villain or the boy, not until he had freed the hostage. Jumping backwards, Izuku floated Katsuki over towards the crowd, but was interrupted when he felt the villain grab onto his leg. "You think you're so great?" The villain smirked as his slime body began to morph itself around the boy's form. "I suppose you'll have to replace my old hostage." The sludge man cackled maniacally. Unknown to the crowd and to the villain, All Might was in the crowd in his normal form. He watched with wide eyes as he saw Izuku run into the fray without a second thought. It both intrigued him and annoyed him. Here he was, a pro hero, someone who was licensed by the government to use his abilities in public and deal with people who would use their gifts to break the law. Standing around watching one of those very people doing exactly that, and what kept him from jumping into the fray? A wound? A time limit? He was impressed by the kid's readiness and to endanger himself for the sake of another. That was the true quality of a hero. No flashy quirk or outfit, but the willingness to do what was necessary to keep everyone safe, even if it cost you your life, because nothing is nobler than self-sacrifice. All Might began to grow into his muscle form. "No need to fear," he said as he finished his transformation. Everyone turned to him and saw the familiar large smile he typically wore. He pointed his thumb to himself. "For I am here!" The hero walked through the crowd until he was a few feet away from the villain with no one else in his path. "For the crimes of endangering life, disturbing the peace, and unlawful use of a quirk, you are under arrest," All Might said as he propelled himself at the villain. He grabbed through the slime and took hold of Izuku and pulled him free from his slimy prison before winding back his fist. "Detroit smash!" he exclaimed as he sent a powerful punch into the villain and scattered his slimy bits throughout the alley. "Slimy bits," My voice. The young emerald-headed boy walked up while looking at the sky. It was getting dark, and his mother would be worried, of course. It wasn't like he didn't have a good reason for being late. It's just that that's what moms do. They worry. And since the incident with the slime villain was televised and most likely a live broadcast to the local news, it was more than likely she already knew, which would only add to the worry. "Deku!" called the familiar voice of Katsuki Bakugo. Izuku sighed. "I was getting nabbed by a villain and used as a walking, talking flesh suit, not enough to tire him out today." The green boy turned and watched as the ashen blonde approached him. "What do you want?" Izuku said casually. Katsuki panted before straightening and glaring into the boy's green eyes. "Listen, you! I would never ask for a weakling like you to help me. You're just a weakling loser." The explosion quirk user turned on his heels and walked off while grumbling the entire time. Izuku's sweat dropped as he watched his classmate walk off. "What was that?" he thought before turning and walking back to his house. "I am here!" exclaimed the number one hero, All Might. He stood at a full 6 feet tall, blonde-haired was styled in his usually bunny ear-like style. "All Might? What are you doing here?" "Young man, I came to speak with you," the hero said casually as he looked down at the boy who had jumped from the fray during the incident with the slime villain. He was selfless and truly brave, All Might smiled. "I want to thank you. Not too many people would have done what you did. Your actions were truly heroic. And thus I have decided you shall be my successor." Successor? The emerald-headed boy tilted his head. "Yes, tell me, boy, what is your quirk? What is my quirk?" "Well," Izuku cupped his chin. "Well," he started. "Online there's a lot of speculation. Some believe it's some sort of strength and super strength. But that wouldn't cover everything you can do. Others believe it's some sort of physical enhancement." The hero sweat dropped. "Yes, well, truthfully, this power is not my own." Midoriya became confused. "You see, my power is known as All for One. It is a special quirk that can be passed down from person to person, and I want you to be the next wielder." And that's where I ended that chapter. And that's where I ended that. How long have I been live so far? Jesus, 2 hours? It's only 12:30. Should I go to bed? Probably not. It's bed. Oh, right. So this is Of Two Houses. This is the next part of Two Houses, right? While last chapter I read of it was like the prologue, chapter 0 necessarily. This would be chapter 1. I don't think I finished it. Alrighty. John lay there on his bed in Team Juniper's shared dorm room. An odd mixture of excitement and nerves coursed through him. John Miles Schnee Arc. Telekinesis is a good quirk. I think the concept was that it I wanted to give him like a strength, a stronger version of his mother's quirk, which is why instead of just, attracting small objects, he can use full-blown telekinesis. But anyway, on to chapter 1 of Two Houses. John lay there on his bed in Team Juniper's shared room. An odd mixture of excitement and nerves coursed through him. John Miles Schnee Arc, a young man born of two very powerful families, was nervous because his birth mother was coming to visit. Her private bullhead Bullhead was supposed to land in just a few hours. Who wouldn't? Why wouldn't he be nervous to see the woman who carried him for 9 months? The same woman that showered him with love and affection for the first 5 years of his life. And the woman that had another family with another man. Sure, John knew the circumstances behind his mother and father's relationship, and he accepted that as a fact. It was only because they couldn't stay together that he had met Juliet and his 7 little sisters. No, seeing his mother again wasn't the problem that plagued the young Ark's mind with the silver-headed girl, but it was the silver-headed girl across the hall, Weichny. His little sister on his mother's side. He loved her for certain, but she could be so difficult that John couldn't so much as talk to the young Schnee without her agitated with him and believing that he was trying to woo her, as it were, accusing him of being just like one of her suitors back home, having to keep distant from his little sister because he was technically a secret and technically he wasn't supposed to have existed, was difficult for him. Growing up in the Ark household, he came to learn one of his father's favorite sayings: family comes first. It was a staple in the family and something that John liked to believe he personified. He loved his large family, even if it was difficult to be around some of them. Growing up as he did, he was possibly the furthest thing from normal that you can get, but because of Juliet, his stepmother, life had been as close to normal as possible. He still went to school. He had 2 loving parents. Two loving parents to come home to at the end of a long day. 3 meals, a warm bed. It was perfect. He wasn't bitter about his circumstances. However, it did pain him to see Wyatt hurting and not being able to do anything about it. Any brother worth his salt would jump to his sister's aid at a moment's notice. But what he hated most was hiding his ability. His mother had visited him in Vale from time to time, and more than once she brought some form of instructor. Whether it be in academics or combat, she made certain that John had anything and everything he needed to succeed in life. Hiding his true strength, the same strength that he had crafted over years of training, frustrated him. He was Schnee, after all, or half Schnee, at least, and Schnees hated being seen as weak. But how would he explain that he could use the Schnee family semblance in front of the entire class, let alone Weiss? Hey, Weiss, about the whole glyph thing, yeah, it turns out I'm your older brother. Who'da thunk? Yeah, no, that only would cause more questions that he had no answers to. No, it was better for him to hide his true prowess and wait for his mother to explain it to Weiss. With a sigh, the blonde boy sat up in his bed and began making his way to his door. He needed to get ready for the day. After all, this was the day that his and Weiss' mother arrives. And that was chapter 1 of 2 Houses. Why did I stop writing things? All of that just seems like a bad idea. Why did I stop? These are all good. For the My Hero one that I just read, I probably would change the quirk a little bit. I like telekinesis, but I think I'd rather give him like a quirk that allows him to attract objects and then propel them at high velocities. That'd be really cool. Let's see. Interesting story indeed, you say. Battle simulation. Juniper. Morning, John woke up rather early. Oh, that was rather early. This one was my first attempt at writing a Naruto OC fiction. Alright. Naruto lay there on his bed, fast asleep, as drool began to run down his face from the corner of his mouth, as if he had the luxury of peace on this most important day. It was the day of team placements, and in the doorway of Naruto's room stood a very irritated orange-haired boy. His name is Juro Uzumaki, and he is Naruto's adopted older brother. The boy could still remember when his younger brother and his surrogate grandfather, Hiruzen Sarutobi, also known as the third Hokage. Like a magnet type of thing? Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of pulls in objects. I guess I would limit it to small objects. The quirk, pull in small objects and then propel them at high velocities. So yeah, like a magnet, like like a polarization kind of thing. Anyway, his younger brother and surrogate grandfather, Hiruzen Sarutobi, also known as the third Hokage, had found him. He was alone, cold, sitting in the dark, and the only source of light that he had was the light of the crescent moon that hung overhead, almost as if some god was watching over him. Juro had no idea why he was alone in the woods. In fact, he couldn't remember much of anything but his name and age, which scared him. The unknown scared him. But his lonesomeness was soon remedied as the Hokage and Naruto came up on him. They had just finished a fishing trip that they often went on when the elderly Hokage didn't have paperwork of some kind to occupy his time. He smiled as he remembered the memory, but frowned. Little brother, by 1 year, has still asleep. Juro walked to the blonde's bedside. He stared down at his little brother. Naruto was wearing a pale blue t-shirt with dark blue boxers with pink hearts on them. His usual sleep cap had fallen on the floor in the boy's sleep, leaving the blonde, spiky hair completely open for the world to see. The orangette swiftly tucked his hands beneath the blonde's mattress, and in one swift motion, he lifted it and flipped it over. Naruto let out a scream of surprise, and Juro smiled. Naruto got up on hands and knees before turning his head and sending a light glare in Juro's direction. "Nissan, why would you do that?" the blonde Jinchuriki shouted as he leapt to his feet. The boy in question smiled, simply rolled his eyes as he picked his ear with his right pinky. "It was your own fault," he said, as it was the most obvious thing in the world. "You know we have team placements today." Juro blew the earwax off his pinky. The blonde sighed and walked out into the living room, closely followed by his smiling older brother. Juro motioned for Naruto to take a seat at the table as he collected his breakfast. As he returned to the table with their plates of eggs and ham, he noticed Naruto frown. After eating their meal, they got dressed for the day. Naruto wore a burnt orange backed with black trim around the edges, along with a black-orange sleeved shirt underneath. He had matching orange pants with his kunai holster strapped on his right thigh. Juro wore his usual navy blue outfit with a dark green flak jacket, which is similar to the jacket Jonin's wore, but he removed the extra shoulder padding and pockets. It proudly displayed the Uzumaki swirl on the back of the jacket. He strapped on his black ninja sandals. "Hey, Nissan," Naruto called from the doorway. Juro smiled before making his way out the door. Walking through the streets, the eldest of the brothers sneered at the people that dared glare in their direction. It was always like this. Whenever they were out, people would glare at them. For the longest time, they had no idea why. Sure, they pulled pranks, but they were never anything that would earn the ire of the village. A few stink bombs there, some well-placed explosive paint bombs over, but nothing lethal. That was until the night prior, the night the traitor Mizuki tried to use his little brother to steal the sacred scroll of sealing and kill Naruto. They didn't call the blonde the most knuckleheaded ninja for nothing. You see, Naruto was the act first, ask questions later kind of guy. So he discovered Mizuki's plan. He did the only thing he could think of. He outnumbered the Chunin and literally hundreds of shadow clones. Now they were both ninjas of the Hidden Leaf Village and one step closer to their goals. Naruto would become the Hokage, to have everyone who looked down on him to one day look up to him. Jura's dream was to protect his family and to uncover the mysteries of his past. Even though it had been a few years since he came to live with Naruto, he still couldn't remember much. There was a handful of things he knew about his past. His name was Jura, no prior last name. 2. His birthday was August 7th. And 3. He kept having a dream of some blue-haired woman smiling down at him with cherry red lips. He didn't know who this woman was or what relationship she had with him, but the dreams always gave him a warm feeling inside. They turned the corner and through the doorway of the academy building. The academy was small, way too small to accommodate many people, but then again, not everyone wanted to be a shinobi. After all, a ninja's life expectancy wasn't great. If they managed to live long enough, they could watch their comrades die around them, because that's what ninja life was. I don't believe you, Cody. I'm not a soothing person. I'm a butthole. I don't know. Where was I? Oh yeah, stepping. Stepping foot in the classroom, Juro smiled as he saw all the kids who have passed their Genin exam. Clan-head children such as Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nora, Choji Akamichi, Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, and Sasuke Uchiha. Others were civilian children. There were 4 in total, such as Sakura Haruno, Shina Atatsuki, Yoshi Akira, and Yabe Kazu. The only one of them worth mentioning is Sakura, since she was expected to take the title of top Konoichi. Well, that was only because she was book smart and practice. She was nothing special. Something about you is your dick plushie. What do you mean? Where is my dick plushie? Oh, it's in my chair. Look, the dick plushie is fine. It's only slightly phallic shaped. I don't know. Juro took his seat next to his friend Hinata Hyuga, as his brother took a seat on the opposite side of the room next to Sasuke Uchiha. The Orangeette side. Naruto could be an idiot at times. He hated the Uchiha, but only sat next to him because it meant that he could talk with his crush Sakura Haruno, who had a crush on the Uchiha, and would often become violent with the blonde because he irritated her. Needless to say, the Pinkhead was not the Orangette's favorite person. He wouldn't go as far as to say wish for her death, but he couldn't say he would be overly upset with it. Yes, Joe. I could. No, PP is such a cute boy. It is. It's adorable. It's even got a Naruto headband on it. Oh, I took the headband off. No, he's not a ninja cock. Okake, if you will. Where was I? Hello, Hinata-chan. Juro smiled, which earned him a meek hello from the Hyuga Harris. Sitting down, the orange-haired boy couldn't help but smile as he noticed the girl staring longingly at his brother from the corner of his eyes. It wasn't a secret how she felt for him, and it was painfully obvious that the blonde was oblivious to her feelings. Don't worry, Hinata-chan. I'm sure my Oto will return your feelings one day. Hinata blushed as he said this, but smiled. Thanks, Chiraku. The boy smiled at his quiet friend before noticing the teacher, Iruka Umino, entered the room. Alright, everyone, settle down, the brunette said. A vein in his forehead throbbed as he saw people not complying with his orders. I said, shut up! And settle down! Iruka shouted while using his big-headed genjutsu. The kids, who hadn't complied the first time, ran to their seats before Iruka got really mad. Good. Starting today, you are all genin. This means I am no longer your sensei, but if you ever need anything, whether it be advice or someone to listen to you when you feel, then feel free to find me. Today I have the pleasure of announcing the team placement. He hoped he could get placed on a good team, possibly with Hinata. They wouldn't have any trouble working together. In fact, anyone in the class would be nice to have on the team. Well, except for Sasuke and Sakura. Azuchiyo was nothing more than an arrogant prick. Sure, he's strong and he earned the title Rookie of the Year, but he walked around like he was the son of the Sage of the Six Paths himself. And Sakura was a loudmouth fangirl who did nothing but obsess over her looks, than do anything actual training. Ino was pretty similar, but at least he could respect that she at least trained. Team 7 will be Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno. Iruka's sentence was cut short as the pinkette leapt to her feet and proclaimed that true love's triumphs again. Isn't that right? Ding ding. I named him Ding Ding. Juro rolled his emerald green eyes and Naruto Uzumaki. Your Jonin sensei will be Kakashi Hatake. Sakura's little victory party immediately stopped as she sank to her seat. He saw how depressed she was. She seemed to get hearing that his brother would be on would be her final teammate. It angered him. He smirked. Maybe I should introduce her underwear drawer to Mr. Itching Powder. Hinata looked at her friend and sighed. She was all too familiar with that look he gets when he decides on a prank. And judging by who he was glaring at, she couldn't help but feel sorry for the pinkette. Ding Ding should burn in hell. Don't be mean to my Ding Ding. Oh god. Team A consists of Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame, and Juro Uzumaki. Your Jonin sensei will be Kurenai Yuhi. Ding Ding is an angel. Team 9 is still in circulation, so Team 10 will be Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, and Choji Yakamichi. Shikamaru, a lazy genius with pineapple hair that was sitting in a row just ahead of Juro, himself sighed and said his trademark word, troublesome. Ino, that sat next to Hinata, groaned and sank to her seat. Your Jonin sensei will be Asuka? Who the fuck? Asuma Sarutobi. Jesus Christ. As you all know, your sensei, blah 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 blah. I remember I was writing this, but I dumped it for my other one. Where was it? It was always about, there it is. Always about Sasuke. That's the one I dumped that fic for. It was always about Sasuke Uchiha. All because of his clan head son. The Uchiha clan heir always came first, and it didn't change after the massacre either. The entire village looked upon him as if he was the son of Kami herself. Girls flocked to him like moths to a flame, but he would only brush them off rather rudely. He would rather brood about the family and clan he lost. The village hailed him as the last Uchiha, but that wouldn't be furthest from the truth. Scowling at Sasuke as he sat at the desk was a black-haired boy with coal black eyes. His name was Hajime Uchiha, younger brother of Shisui Uchiha. The boy wore a dark blue jacket with long, light gray sleeves. On the back of the jacket was the Uchiha fan in all its glory, while underneath he wore a white t-shirt with the Konoha emblem stitched into it in black. He wore dark gray Anbu style pants and blue ninja sandals. He acted quite differently from his cousin too. While Sasuke could be described as broody and ego-driven, his cousin Hajime was not. While Sasuke allowed the memory of his past to drive him, he also allowed anger to consume him. While Hajime pushed past the incident and gained the strength it needed so something like this never happened again. The young Uchiha trained diligently to make sure he was strong enough to not only defend himself, but those important to him. Currently, he sat with the rest of the class, where awaiting their class teacher, Iruka Umino. Hajime was one of 27 other students to have passed their Genin exam. The great majority of the room was filled with clan children, such as himself and his cousin. "I made it!" exclaimed Sakura Haruno as she entered the classroom. Hajime sighed. This was a typical occurrence. Sakura and Ino would race to class just for a chance to sit next to Sasuke. Hajime never knew why. The clan heir was nothing but an ego-driven bastard that spent more time thinking about the family he lost during the massacre than the family he still has. People would shower him with affection, but he would snap at them at the moment's notice. Probably the only reason the boy had for pitying his cousin was that he had a large fan club, but even the reason for that eluded him. God damn. I'm getting worse at reading as time goes on. The Ravenet watched the pink and blonde girls argue about who gets to sit next. Who got the class first before moving on to Naruto. The boy winced as Sakura hit the boy in the face. Why the blonde had a crush on the girl he would never know. Sakura was brash, impulsive, and prone to fits of violence, especially when it comes to Sasuke. While Naruto could be annoying at times and was more than not loud, he didn't deserve to be used as a human punching bag. He shook his head before returning his attention at the book he held in his hand. It was on chakra, both control and various ways it could be used. He found it interesting how in Suna they found a way to extend chakra out of their bodies in order to control puppets. And in some cases, people. How many times had he read this book? Twice? 10 times? 20? It didn't matter. After all, the more knowledge on chakra he had, the more ways he could use it. "Attention, class!" came the voice of the class teacher, Iruka Umino. Hajime gave the man his attention, only to find him grimace in annoyance as the others continued to talk amongst themselves. "I said attention!" I got an itch. The man exclaimed while using his big head jutsu. It was super effective. Pokemon referenced. Hajime chuckled as he saw the students scramble to their seats. Turning his attention at the front of the class, the boy listens to Uruka's speech. "Starting today, you are all graduates. You're leaving here and be placed on a team with a new sensei. Of course, you're all more than welcome to come and ask me any questions you might have. It may not be much. I mean, I'm not your parents, Iruka said with a smile and nervous chuckle. But I'm proud of each and every one of you. The Scar teacher's words meant more than he knew. Hajime, at least. After all, he had no one at home to congratulate him. No one to say how proud they were that he made Guinea. A hand rose in the air, much to the annoyance. The boy looked to see Sakura, and the look on her face didn't necessarily look happy. Iruka-sensei, why is Naruto Baka here? He couldn't have passed. Hajime scowled at this. He and the blonde were friends in a sense. He never really cared for the pinkette that his blonde friend, had a big crush on. She was mean and violent for no good reason. Obviously, Haruno-san, Hajime growled out. If he wasn't meant to be here, Iruka would have sent him home. So obviously he did graduate. Sakura looked at the Uchiha with a scowl. She went to say something, but Iruka cut her off. He's right, Sakura-san. I did pass Naruto-gun. Alright, any more questions? When no one posted a question, the instructor continued. Posted? Alright, let's get on with the assignments. Alright. The only team... I like how I wrote this note. Teams 1 through 7 are the same. Team 8 will be Hajime Uchiha. The boy in question smiled at as his eyes grew more lustrous in anticipation to find out who was going to be his teammates. Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame. The Uchiha blinked as he looked at his two teammates that sat 2 rows in front of him. Hinata and Shino were of the quietest kids he had ever met. The Hyuga was shy and timid, while Shino was mysterious. Your Jonin sensei will be Kurenai Yuhi. Hajime nodded and smiled down at his teammates. He couldn't foresee a reason he couldn't work with them. If the boy remembered correctly, the Aburame clan used a special bug-based jutsu. They allowed insects to use their bodies as hives and feed on their chakra in return for the insects' help with ninjutsu. The Hyuga clan was another big name in Konoha alongside the Uchiha, as they too had a dojutsu known as the Byakugan. Using their eyes, they could see the invisible chakra network that everyone possessed and housing along with their gentle fist technique, they could shut down the person's entire chakra system. After lunch, Team 8's beginning sat together having a small conversation amongst themselves. During a small break between Iruka's speech and now they had gotten to know each other well enough. Hinata was a really sweet girl, if not for a bit timid at times, almost if she expected to be bullied by him. This didn't sit well with him. Shino was a pretty cool guy. Once you got to know him, he was still mysterious, but he had opened up a bit after seeing how friendly Hajime was with Hinata. Team 8, called a female voice from the doorway. Hajime looked up and noticed an admittedly beautiful woman standing there looking their way. The 3 stood up in unison and made their way towards her as she smiled. Good. Let's go to the dango shop. The team... Why did I have them go to the dango shop? The team plus Sensei made their way to the local dango shop. Alright, this is where I had Hajime flex. Down in his booth, it took one of the menus before waving over to the waitress. Kyoka-chan, can you get us a plate of my usual? Kyoka smiled down at Hajime. The boy was one of the shop's regulars. Often he would stop by for a plate of Neapolitan dango and some warm lemon tea. Okay, Hajime, good. The waitress ruffled the raven black hair before walking off to retrieve their order. You didn't have to do that. I could have paid, Kurenai said. The boy shrugged. Think of it as goodwill towards teammates, he said before the tea and dongo was brought out to them. Besides, a.k.a. gave me a big allowance this month as a graduation present. Hajime smiled as he took one of the ice cream flavored dongo into his mouth. He smiled as the strawberry flavor erupted in his mouth. Hinata offered a quick thanks before taking a dongo stick and a cup of tea for herself. Does a.k.a. typically give you an allowance? Shino said in his monotone voice. Hajime nodded as he took a sip of tea. Yeah, until Sasuke-san or me or Sasuke-san are old enough, a.k.a.'s access to the Uchiha accounts. Karine nodded and as she accepted a dongo skewer. Well, anyway, we should get started with introductions. Konoichi said before smiling at her three charges. I'll start. My name is Kurenai Yuhi. I like genjutsu, my friends, and reading. I dislike perverts and criminals. My hobbies outside of ninja work are reading. My dream is to have a family, and more recently to train the three of you to be the best you can be. The three smiled as she finished her introductions before pointing to Hajime. Why don't you start us off, Jacob? The Uchiha nodded before starting. My name is Hajime Uchiha. My likes are dongo, he said as he picked up another skewer. Training and my friends. I dislike my cousin and people that don't take things seriously. This got Kurenai's attention as he said he disliked Sasuke. My hobby is cooking and my dream is to revive the Uchiha clan. He finished with a smile. What do you do not like Sasuke-san? Hinata questioned with a slight surprise, which slightly surprised him. This has been the first time she had spoken since arriving at the dongo shop. Hajime looked away from her for a moment before looking back at her and bumping her arm with his elbow. It's nothing. He's so different. Like, he acts that the world owes him something. He started to get angry. He doesn't acknowledge that I'm even there. Even when I ask him if he wants to train with me, he just blows me off and says that I can't keep up with the main branch. The boy scowled and shook his head. Then there's this stupid fan club. I mean, come on! They're so blinded by his looks and talent that they can't see that he's so cold and arrogant. Kurenai nodded. It seemed that his dislike for his cousin stemmed from Sasuke ignoring him or treating him as if he was less important. Sadly, it was a common occurrence within clans with branch families. Even amongst the main branch, it happened, such as in the Hyuga. Hinata had always been shy and timid, which the Hyuga elders saw as weakness. That, and she never went all out in spars with her sister. Alright, Hinata, you next. My name is Hinata Hyuga. I think I'm going overboard with that stutter. I like reading and I dislike bad people. My hobby is flower pressing and my dream is to abolish my clan's cage bird seal. This was something that Kurenai knew she would have to work with Hinata on. The poor girl's confidence problems would do her no good moving forward in life. How about you, Shino-san? My name is Shino Albarame. I enjoy studying bugs. I dislike those who kill bugs. My hobby is catching bugs and learning of their effects on the human body, or chakra. My dream is to be clan head of the Albarame. I could have sworn I wrote a better ending to that. But it is 1:15 and I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna end it off there. This fine reading. Maybe I'll do another one of these again sometime. Maybe I'll read one of my published stories. That'd probably be fun, right? But if you're interested, you could also read my published stories over at fanfiction.net. Just look up w.j.winnings, and there you go. So I'll see you around. Bye.